What's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready.
What's up, everybody? This is Coach Stokes, and welcome to the Round Table. This is the Gatekeepers. I want to go ahead and introduce everybody to you. First and foremost, I'm going to start off with the top left. He is a councilman for Ward 1 City of Jacksonville, North Carolina. This Councilman Brian Jackson. How we doing?
Hey, brother. How you doing? How's everybody else doing, by the way?
Good.
Thank you.
Great.
We also have a wild card. Today's wild card is Rhenaldo Williams. He is my brother-in-law out of Washington, D.C., Bowie, Maryland. What's on, big dog?
How you doing? Welcome to everybody. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Then also we got my man Jason Reed out of Carson, California. Coach Jason Reed, up and coming. How you doing, big dog?
Greetings. How you doing, Coach?
Greetings. Thank you for being here. And then also, last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. She's the first female to ever coach on men's level Olympic boxing, Coach Gloria Peak. How you doing, Coach?
Good, babe. How are you, honey?
I'm good. Hey, everybody, let's go ahead and dig into the topic. Today's topic is how coaches, boxers maintain a championship mindset. Anybody want to touch on that first? How do you build on the championship mindset? It doesn't even have to necessarily be about boxing. It can be with anything. Coach Jay Reed with the OU,
yes.
University. Let me hear what you got to say.
Well, like you mentioned earlier during the introduction, I think what makes a champion inside the ring is the same thing that makes a champion outside of the ring. And that could be universal in anything that you're doing in life. So I think, dedication, discipline, and resiliency. Those are like the three components that I think, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you got to be dedicated. And then you got to be disciplined, that goes hand in hand with that dedication. And then you got to realize that life, using sport as a microcosm, life, you're not always going to be victorious. You're going to get knocked down. So you got to be resilient. So those are the key facets, in my opinion.
Dedicated, discipline, and resilience. I love that word, resilience. That's one of my favorite words. I do want to ask you this, though. With everything that's going on in boxing, not even boxing, with any and everything, basketball, football, we live in a microwave society where they want to put everything together and make a championship team within a year or 2 years or 3 years, the max. You see a lot of, back in the day when I was coming up, man, you had cats that were on the team for like 10, 12, 15 years, going strong. They'll get to the championship. They won't win it, but they made it close. I think people don't realize how hard it is to become a champion. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult, man. It's really difficult. Right. You either got to be set up in the right place. Your car's got to be set up, or you got to have the right backing. So with that being said, what do you tell these young cats today, man? Because a lot of these guys, they come inside the gym and they want to learn the Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll within a couple of days or a week, but they don't want to be like what Coach Peak did with us. Had us on the line for 6 months, throwing nothing but a jab, step. What is it that you would tell them, Coach Jay Reed?
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, and it's more of a challenge when you're dealing with young athletes in particular, because we have all this social media and YouTube available. Like, for instance, my son loves Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. is a great fighter, but a lot of the stuff he did was high-level, instinctual, unfundamentals type of stuff. You could go back to the older generation. My father, Ali, did a lot of instinctual, unfundamental stuff. So you got to teach whatever you're doing. I don't care whether it's English, whether it's academic field, whether it's sports. You have to start with the fundamentals, and you have to slowly build. And it's okay to add a little bit of pizzazz to it once you've mastered your fundamentals. But any good coach, any good teacher, instructor will tell you that you got to master the fundamentals. You can't go out there as a public speaker and start just throwing out words in the dictionary, encyclopedia, and you don't even know the basic English diction. So you know what I mean? You got to build. So fundamentals as a coach, from a coaching perspective.
Okay, Coach Peak, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I like what Coach Reed was saying. His philosophy is pretty much the same as mine. What I would tell you guys all the time, the 3 elements to success, no matter what you do in life: hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. And young people today are not willing to sacrifice. They don't want to wait. They don't want to have to put in that time. They want the instant gratification. I want it today. If you can't teach it to me in the next week, then maybe it's not worth having. And then they wonder why they fall short. Not just in the ring, but on in every aspect of the program. And one of the ways that I try to keep my boxers engaged is that I have to maintain that contact with them. And my building them is not only building their skills, but I find in order to get a championship boxer, I have to not only build the skills, but I have to build the mind as well. If you take a boxer and he's in phenomenal shape and you put him in the ring, but his mind's not right, he's going to lose. If you have a boxer and his mind is solid, but his physical body is not right, he's not in shape, he's going to lose. Those things have to work together. They have to come simultaneously in order to have a championship boxer. You need both of those things. So you have to be able to work on the mind as well as work on the body. They're both very important in developing a top level boxer.
Hey, Coach, I want to go ahead and introduce somebody. Coach is. I want to introduce somebody that came in. He is my international guest coming all the way from England. This is Louis Isaacs. What's going on, Louis?
What's up, man? You right?
Not too bad, man. Hey, what time is it over there in England?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Oh man.
10 p.m.
Louis is an undefeated prospect, ladies and gentlemen. So go check him out. You get a chance. Louis, hey, today we're talking about how coaches and boxers maintain a championship mindset that goes beyond the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to think on that because I'm gonna get to my next person on the panel, but then I'm gonna come back to you. All right. So I want you to ponder on that for a quick second. Councilman, city councilman, I want to know, boxing and politics is running neck and neck. I might say that politics is even way worse than boxing.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to hit anybody.
Right, right. But y'all get hit every day, though.
Man, yeah, and you got to figure out the best way to fight back. I agree with what all has been said so far. One of the things I thought about is preparation meeting timing, and timing meeting opportunity. And you actually stepping out when no one else will. And sometimes it comes down to, I know when I ran for city council, I knew the incumbent, but I felt there was something else that I could offer. So, but it wasn't about me. It was about the people. And a lot of times I think we deal with this whole nego or ego thing. I talked to you about nego and trying to let go my nego and trying to get, you all can fill in the blanks. But, and regardless of what age, we all got to understand there's someone that can give us wisdom. For example, the coach here, because of her, her education through life, I got to sit at her feet and be able to soak it in regardless of what age I get to, and also I need to learn from those that are younger than me because those are my constituents also. And what appeals to some doesn't appeal to others, but I got to figure out how to get that information from them and try to make a decision based on all coming together. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because, I learned a lot looking at you guys when you on the Marine boxing team. And as I got to know you, about how you had to always prepare. And you did things like at one time, we started lifting weights together, right? To try to add something different to your game. It's like that with this. when I came to my city council, no one gave me a playbook, but through the National Black Caucus of local elected officials, there have been other people that had, that I could go to as a result of me not knowing. You come in there with all these ideas, and then you got to operate within the system. And like I said, there are times you sitting across from people, and you got various thoughts going on, especially with what's going on in the background with politics now. And I'm in the South, so some things are what's happening all over the country now, but the South can be very interesting when it comes to ideals and goods and bads, Mm-hmm. So it becomes an interesting mix to try to stand there and operate in terms of what can I do best for all involved.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you, Councilman. My brother-in-law, Rhenaldo, you have something that you, I shouldn't say something, but my nephew, ladies and gentlemen, my nephew is going to be born in July. And can I say his name? Oh, no, don't say his name.
Go ahead. Here, go ahead.
You sure?
All right.
All right. His name is going to be Epic Sincere Williams. That's going to be his name.
I like that name.
All right.
Yeah. You guys to. So I want to ask you this, big bro. How are you going to instill that championship mindset into his mind?
For me, I want to piggyback on everyone made excellent points. Very excellent points. I don't think I would add too much more to it. But what I can add is being from the football perspective, you have to learn how to lead yourself before you can lead anyone else. To be a champion, you must also look at previous or prior champions and see what they did correctly in order to be a champion or have the champion aspirations that they already plateaued to. Also, lastly, you want to be a sponge. You want to, in the room, you want to glue up everything you see, take the good with the bad, and make your route. Hopefully, the route that you make will be the championship route. Mm-hmm. I think those three intangible things, you can be, your ceiling is higher than ever expected. Just continue on this learning from previous champions, like I mentioned, and continue on just being the best you can be, and never rub off into anything else.
Definitely. Thanks. Mr. Isaacs. Mr. Isaacs is undefeated professional boxer out of England. And Mr. Isaacs, can you tell us what is it that you do to maintain that championship mindset, especially being that COVID-19 has popped up on the scene? What have you been doing to stay motivated, to stay thirsty, to stay hungry?
Train. I can't really do this, guys. This is a bit thing to me that I'm leaving this. I don't want to do it. I'm going.
What happened?
I don't know. Hey, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, so Coach Pete.
Yeah. Listen, my man's mindset, I can tell you right now, his mind was off.
Yeah.
He didn't have that right mindset. I could tell that right from the get-go. Just on his body language, the fact that you could barely see him, it was dark, and as soon as you asked him a question, he got flustered, and couldn't answer it, which means he's not really prepared. So he may not be doing the things that
exactly. Let's talk about that. Let's use that as an example. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, when you come in, people think it's just not just getting inside the ring. That's the easy part, man. But you gotta. I was looking at an interview the other day at Mike Tyson. Have you guys seen Mike Tyson lately? Mike looked phenomenal.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Mike looked good.
Great show.
Yeah.
Mike was being interviewed, and he had hundreds of people coming around him, taking autographs, asking questions. Mike did not miss a beat. And that's one thing I can say. Louis Isaacs, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna put you on first beat, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. If I ask you to come on my show and you disregard me and diss me and my people like that, you will never get an invitation back. So that is, you ain't ever gotta worry about that. But I'm glad these young ladies and gentlemen can see this, because when you say that you want to be into the limelight, you got to be ready. You got to be ready 100%. That means when the cameras are on and when they aren't on. And just like you said, Coach, you know, if you live in that life the right way, you ready all the time. But if you're not gonna be ready. Hey, Coach Jay, I want to hear you say something on that, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, through life experience, I mean, I don't know the young man that you know called in from the UK, but all I can say, if he's still listening or he goes back and watches this video, that you know this should be a lesson that, like you said, I mean, he should be prepared, be ready, and learn from this. You know, I don't know where his mind is at. Like Coach Peak said, I don't know what he's going through personally, but you know, I hope he uses this as a learning experience. You know, he stumbled on this one, but hey, bounce back, take this as a learning experience, and be prepared the next time when you get an opportunity, when and if you get an opportunity. So, I mean, you got to be prepared, and you know, everything that everybody's touched on so far, we talked about preparation. You know, you're coming on the show, you kind of, you know the topic, prepare accordingly. So, you know, I hope he uses this. I don't want to throw him under the bus either. I don't know how old he is, where he's at in his life, but use this as a learning experience to bounce back.
Yeah, you know what? You see a lot from a person's actions, and you know that's all I can say.
Yeah.
City Councilman, what's going on?
Yes, sir.
City Councilman, I want to ask you this. What is it your daily basis when it comes to staying conditioned, staying in the media's eye? Because, you know, I mean, a lot of things are happening. You know, I wake up this morning saying Vice President Biden is going to be going up against, you know, President Trump. He's gonna need everything to come out of his bag to, you know, go up against President Trump. It's gonna be very, very dirty.
True.
So my question to you is, what do you see?
Well, one of the things, first of all, you got to stay abreast of what's going on in your environment, and that's with anything. One of the things in terms of preparation, I'm getting a lot of, you know, information through the National League of Cities, through the state, because with politics, we have stuff that comes down from the federal side, and then it comes to your state, and then it comes through your counties, and then it gets to the municipal level. But if you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to actually communicate with those that's in your chain to actually get to what you need at your local level. One of the things that's being introduced with this HEROES Act is that the money go directly to counties and municipalities. Because a lot of times when things get stuck into state politics, it never reaches those areas that it was meant to reach from square one. So with me, I have to stay abreast. And another thing is that one of the issues that I'm really concerned about is what's going to happen to everybody that's affected by COVID-19 in terms of when all the lights are off. We all know, like, if someone has a funeral, everybody's at the funeral, but nobody hardly shows up after the event. So a lot of times when the light is on a certain area, that's when a lot of attention is given. But when the lights go out, then that's where you really need to step up and help those that really in need. So one of the things I know I'm working on is working with other organizations. When I ran for city council, I said, I want to be your voice. I sit in a seat, but it's the people's seat. But the people need to understand that we have to all stand up for ourselves. So if we can come together, that's the best recipe for actually anything that can get done. And that's in politics or anything else. You know, you have your team that you work with boxing, even if it's your individual boxer, not on a total team like the Marine boxing team, but you also have your coaches, you have your managers, you have all these, you know, these wheels that's turning to make this thing work. And if one is off, then it affects the whole. So that's what's happening in terms of our individual communities, because a lot of times we're thinking that it's only about that person that's supposed to represent you. No, you have to get into that face, especially at the local level, which is the most important level. Yeah. You get into that person's face, and you can get into that person's face to try to, you know, if people are saying I'm doing something wrong, I have to take information in, you know, but at the same time, people got to understand what we got to do to help ourselves and also help each other. So
Right. I so agree with that. People are looking for everybody to fix things for them and help them out, and they're not willing to step up and help themselves first. And that's the first thing you've got to do. One of the main things I try to teach with the boxing is, gentlemen, they say, well, I'll ask them, what do you want? Well, I want to make the Olympic team. I want to be this. You ready to put that kind of work in? I mean,
What's the work?
You can't expect me to do everything. You're going to have to step up, and you're going to have to put in a whole lot of work, son, or young lady, because it's going to take that kind of work, and it's going to take the work of the whole team. Yes, boxing is an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. In my gym, it's a team sport because we work. I design my program and I work my program out of a family model. And Steve can speak to this. When you're in my program, you're not just in a boxing program, you're a part of a family. And I use the family dynamics in order to help you to develop both mentally and physically, as an athlete and as a person, because that's very important. And you have a community that you're attached to that you also, you owe and you have some responsibility to, and that's important. So,
Mom, I want to go ahead and add on top of that. Championship mindset, both you, anybody that follows me is where I train my sons. And the most important thing for them is, you already know, Jay Reed, when you are training your son or sons, they're watching everything that you're doing. Everything.
Right.
Even when the lights are off. I can get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. They looking at how I walk to the bathroom. So if I don't have that championship mindset, they're not gonna have that championship mindset. Even when the lights are dark and I'm at my lowest point, man, I gotta be like, yo, I gotta find a way to make that, positivity out of those things, man, because they watching everything. And if I can't overcome obstacles, how can I expect them third round? Hey, I know you tired, Diesel. I know you tired, Sterling, but you gotta dig down within. If I can't do it, they're not gonna do it. So I want to ask you that, Rhenaldo, playing on the football team, brother. How was that, man?
Like you said, learning, making yourself the best person you can be, and being the best leader you can be personally will rub off effectively to everyone else on the team. Me being a 3-time starter and 3-time captain of my football team, that was something I learned from, like I said, looking at previous players that were Hall of Famers, the Ring of Honors. Getting that toolage from them was easy for me to translate that into my team. And winning was just that's a piece of it. But to be the man, to be the best man on the field would translate, or off the field, rather, would translate on the field. So me just trying to be the best person I could be for my team, actually for myself first, and then it would translate to my team. That's how you create leadership.
Right. I want to go around the room and I want to ask each and every person this one question. Who is somebody that you know that exemplifies that championship mindset? It ain't gotta be nobody famous, it could be anybody. And I want you to explain who they are if you feel comfortable with that, and then, tell us a little story about that. So I'll start off first. Without a shadow of a doubt, my grandmother, Martha Ferguson, peace be upon her. My grandmother was the person that showed me that championship mindset. You talking about a woman that came from rural North Carolina, moved up to Rochester, New York, started her own business, her own restaurant business that she had for many years. And then, she was the one that showed me that grind, that hustle mentality on you can leave your household and then go anywhere else. So I learned that from her. So it would be my grandmother. City Councilman, who would it be for you?
I have several, but I'm gonna mention a brother, rest in peace, brother Wallace Francis, who actually he had actually got a scholarship back in the '60s to play at the University of Iowa in football and baseball. Because of all that was going on with civil rights at the time, he ended up going out to LA and becoming a member of the Panther Party. And he taught me so much about what they were trying to do in terms of feeding children, protecting their communities, and moving forward in terms of, just doing the right thing and being a man in terms of taking care of what is yours to take care of. And that is your home. That is your community. That is your people. He taught me. He was a great reader. He stayed quiet, was a big guy, about 6'4", probably about 250, but he would sit back in the background and just take everything in. But when it was time to speak, he made it count every time. He was incredible. I remember we used to spar, and hats off to anybody that boxed, because just holding up your arms for 3 minutes is a huge accomplishment.
Man.
1 minute. 1 minute is long.
More or less when somebody's throwing it back at you. That's another thing altogether. But that right there, he instilled so much in me. It's an incredible amount of books. I really have a book problem. If there's a problem having books, I'm always buying books. I want to be able to access the knowledge, and that definitely came through him. He don't know how much he's put into me to where I am now. He died on Juneteenth of 2009, and he was the man that taught me what Juneteenth was.
Wow.
Just an amazing guy. Yeah.
Coach Peak, one person.
I'd probably have to say my mother. Strong woman from the South. She grew up having to pick the cotton and being in the fields and, dealing with all the discrimination and, she wasn't able to finish school. She had to work to help take care of the family and stuff. And she met my father on a migrant, working team that came up north, and they got married. And I remember the stories my mother used to tell me about how because she was a domestic worker and she cleaned houses, and how she cleaned these people's houses, and how they made her scrub toilets with her hand and stuff, and she would cook for them and do all this stuff. And when it was time to eat, they wouldn't even allow her to eat in the same house. They made her go outside underneath a tree and eat. And I mean, and she persevered. She survived all of that. She persevered. She raised us to go on and get an education. I was the first one in my family to get a bachelor's degree, and then I went on to get several more degrees. But her strength and being able to really recognize that, because when you're young, you don't always recognize that. And I didn't recognize it when I was really young. It's when I got older and I recognized, that strength. And I feel very fortunate, to have been there with her through all of that and to have that imparted on me. So I have to say my mom, may she rest in peace.
Peace be upon her. Coach Jay Reed.
Yes, I'm gonna piggyback off of Coach Peak and say it's my father. My father is definitely that person. He was born in 1942 in Muskogee, Oklahoma during Jim Crow. Went to segregated schools. Primarily is the one that raised me from age 9 on up. I lived with my father, and just really, he was a man that was well versed in the skilled trades. Was had a contracting license, plumbing license. A lot of times I'd be holding a flashlight, going under the house with him, just seeing that work ethic that he had. It really helps me with my boys. The people say, "Hey, Jay," whenever people give me a compliment, say, "Jay, you're a good father." First off, I say, I'm only doing what I should do. And then second off, I followed up by saying, well, I had a great role model, which was, my father. And I got to, like I said, got to spend that time in a time where many of my friends and buddies didn't have fathers. So I was very thankful that I had a strong Black father, strong Black man in my life. So, and definitely that guy's my father.
Yeah. Throw up the fish for your pops, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Rhenaldo, you brother, who you say?
It's kind of hard to bring it down to one person. But if I can, it'll be my wife. My wife is right now, I mean, for the past 11 years we've been together, married 1 year in total. This is the strongest person I think I ever met in my life. To deal with the highs and the lows she dealt with, the passing of her mother, you know, and you see this woman never missed a beat. You know, she just kept persevering, kept going, went through school, had to bury her mother while she's in school, got a degree after school. You know, to see this woman just do anything she wants to, put her mind to, does it and does it at a high level. And I look back and I just, this, and I'm in awe, you know, just speaking upon it right now because, you know, right now she's carrying our baby for 8 months now. And, you know, just seeing her just still just keep going, working out, heavy, still trying to keep herself physically active. It's you know, I can't really put into words, but what I can say, give her flowers while she can still smell them. That is my role model. That is my aspiration. She is the leader of our pack, and I give all the praises to her. So, my wife.
Brittany, you better take heed of this. You hear your husband? I'm her big brother, so you better take heed of. You got a good dude right here, man, for real. Hey, championship mindset. Now we're gonna swing it to when it comes to the boxing ring. Championship mindset. I want one fighter that you could, if you hear that phrase to you, championship mindset when it comes to boxer, who would that be? Coach Pete.
It can be anybody.
Anybody.
It's
your choice.
I would have to say, you know, during the time that I worked in, you know, Rochester, when I had the NBC club, I would say somebody that really had a phenomenal championship mindset was Randall Stevens. I called him Long Tall Sally. He was 6'4", ambidextrous, could fight with either hand, switch up on you and knock you out in a heartbeat. And that sucker was hard to hit. He had some of that. He had some of that sweepy in him when it came for defense, because I'm a very defensive coach, and so we worked a lot on that. And also, you know, he had the power in both hands. And you know, I really saw him going somewhere. I'm telling you, he could have gone loads of places. But you know, he was really phenomenal when he had that mindset. He got in the ring, he owned it, he controlled it. You know, it was his house.
Yeah.
You know, and 9 times out of 10 he stood victorious when the dust cleared.
Salute Randall, Big Dip. Brian, City Councilman, what about you? Who would you say has that championship mindset that you can remember or that you know of in boxing?
I mean, just looking from the outside looking in, I think back to Tyson in his prime. You know, it looked like he was concentrating on taking care of business when he stepped into the ring. I think the problem with him is the outside defeated him. It wasn't the inside of the ring. It was those distractions that any of us could get involved in. Maybe the wrong woman, the wrong people you hanging around with, stuff of that nature. But looking at the way he approached it, it just looked like he came to do business when he was going to the ring.
Right.
Okay. Jay Reed.
Yeah. When you brought out the question about what makes a champion, I thought about it first from a boxing standpoint, knowing that we were going to also elaborate on life in general. So I have 3 fighters, but I'm only going to mention one. My 3 fighters of my generation is Floyd, and then I think of Evander Holyfield, and then I think of Andre Ward most recently. Those 3 fighters to me embody what a true champion is, inside and outside the ring. And I take Floyd out of the picture because Floyd had a lot of natural God-given ability. He's a guy who could have played almost any sport, pound for pound, athletically. Evander and Andre Ward, good athletes, not great athletes. And that's my opinion. They're not great athletes. You know, not like a Roy Jones. Or those guys are great athletes. Andre Ward, good athlete, not a great athlete. Evander Holyfield, good athlete, not a great athlete. And so I look at Andre Ward and I say, you know, Evander Holyfield is a toss-up, but I look at Holyfield and the way he went from cruiser to heavyweight. I look at his success on every level, from the amateur level. You know, a lot of people say he should have won a gold or should have been in, you know, he got robbed in the Olympics, but then he became a cruiser and he moved up. When he moved up and he fought Tyson, you know, Mr. Jackson was talking about Tyson. Well, the only difference between Holyfield and Tyson was the intangibles, the championship mindset. Holyfield, you never could discourage him. He had that resiliency that I talked about inside the ring. You were not going to break him mentally. And if you were not ready to die in that ring, you were not going to be Holyfield, because he put in that time outside. He ran his miles. He did what he was supposed to do. And he may not have had as much hand speed as you. He may not have had as much athleticism, but he was as strong as they come mentally. And he had that heart, those intangibles that don't show up. So Holyfield for me is my all time. He little man that moved up, beat all the big guys, and he's an all time great.
Hey, I can respect that. I do want to play devil's advocate for a moment. What if he would have met Mike during his prime when Mike had Kevin Rooney and Kestamato?
Still. No, I don't think so. No, I'll tell you this. Why, Coach Stokes? Because Mike had character issues. Mike's issues were character flaws, and that's what we're talking about. Coach Peak talks about developing a fighter, you know, building up a fighter. Part of the issue is your character will follow you in everything that you do. My point is, if you have a kid or a young fighter that's prone to quitting in the ring, and I think we've all seen that as coaches, there are some fighters that will just quit. That you can't get them out. That isn't something that is just Mike naturally. That's who Mike is naturally. When you can stand up to Mike, and it's a proven track record, not just Holyfield. When you can stand up to Mike and you can take what he dishes out, take him to deep waters, he cracks. And that is a character flaw. That is a character flaw that, unfortunately, by the time he got to Custamato as a preteen, 13, was too late. That was too late for him. Holyfield, naturally off the cuff, he's the different animal. He's a different animal. He's a different breed. You can't break that man mentally. I'm sorry.
I'm like that's your stance, and I respect it. But I think we're gonna have to come back on another platform and talk about that, because I really feel like Mike in his prime, Mike would knock his ass out. That's the you know. Hey, Rhenaldo.
For me, I'm gonna piggyback on Coach Jay Reed. I have two fighters, one before my generation and one during my generation. Before my generation, I'm gonna go with Muhammad Ali. Just for the fact of what he did in the ring, out the ring, philanthropy, this being a model citizen, standing up for what you believe in. Those are traits I believe in, that I have in my heart, and that's how I think that transfer into a great leader and a champion. Currently, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is tough. I mean, you talking about don't quit. This man has never quit for what he's done out the ring. When done his family in the Philippines. I mean, I've been studying Manny Pacquiao for about 10 years, and he embodies, for me, what I've seen as a tough SOB in and out. You know, in and out. You know, he lose. He get back in there. I want you to fight you right now again.
Right.
Everybody shame him. He gets the public shame of you can't beat Floyd. You just can't that. But what he says, what he does, I want you again. You know, if I lose, I want you again. And that's how I embody a champion, a leader. You know, you take your L's when you take your L's, or pick back up and get that W later on.
Good to go. Big bro, you definitely been doing your research. I like that. Hey. Well, my answer, I'm gonna go with the mecca of all the boxing. That's gonna be Sugar Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson, he served his country. You talking about hard fighting back in the day. He fought the best of the best, not just 1 or 2 times. He fought some of them cats 5 or 6 times. Ray Robinson, without a doubt, in my personal opinion, when you talking about that mental fortitude, and like you said, Coach Jay Reed, he had it, man. He had it. Whether he win, lose, or draw, he's gonna come in there and put on the best fight for you. So, in my opinion, Sugar Ray Robinson, to me, instilled that championship mindset. I want to ask you guys this right before we end. Everything is coming to a conclusion, but I want to ask you guys your most funniest story that you've witnessed personally when it comes to sports, whether it's boxing, football, or anything else. I'm gonna start off first. 1987, when I first started boxing. So, man, that's been some years, man. 1987, Buffalo County Fair. Coach Peak, I don't know if you was there at that fight, but there was a guy that Don Simpkins had that was boxing. To this day, man, I don't even know what the hell happened. But he got inside the ring. You remember back in the day when brothers used to have curls? He had a curl. He had a curl. He put the curl cap on his head. And then he put a swimming cap over the curl cap. And we all looking like. He gets inside, he starts fighting. First round, he did good. But all he had was white stuff all over his face from the curl activator. Hey, I lie to you not. Hey, the ref was like, what's going on? He said, I can't see. My eyes is burning. Wiped his face off. He could not finish the fight because of the curl activator. I lie to you not. That's the funniest thing I ever seen in my life. And I had never seen a fight. One thing I knew was I wasn't gonna get a curl. That wasn't gonna happen to me. Hey, lie to you not, man. That's the funniest thing I ever seen in my life. Hey, City Councilman, what about you?
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. I can't compete with that, man.
Yeah,
I know, brother. I know. It's pretty hard.
The thing, I guess, I'll take it away from. I'm just thinking about playing football out in the street. I remember getting knocked out. And they just pulled me out into the side of the grass and just kept on going. So that probably, I didn't see it. I wish I could have saw it. I probably would have laughed at it, but yeah, I got knocked out. And we were playing touch football.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, touch football.
Touch, yeah, really touching you.
Yeah, really
Laying
touch.
them hands on you, I guess you would say.
Okay. Coach Jay Reed, I'm interested in hearing your story, brother.
Man, you stole the show, man. I mean, I'm sitting over.
I know Coach P got a better one.
I'm saying, I'm trying to think from childhood on up. I'm trying to think, and I'm really stuck. I mean, since it's a boxing, since we're talking about boxing primarily, I guess I'll go with the whole Fan Man incident, Riddick Bowe Holyfield, since I brought up Holyfield, I think of the Fan Man when it was more shocking, but the funny part, it wasn't funny, but it was entertaining when I guess it was Rock Newman, I think, that was managing Riddick Bowe, and he was beating the hell out of that guy. Excuse me, he beat the crap out of that man, but I'm trying to you would have to let me contemplate and think about something, I'm pretty sure there's lots of funny things, but I can't really think. But the Fan Man incident, it was entertaining and it was funny too.
Okay. Rhenaldo.
For me, I haven't had a boxing moment, but I have had a football moment.
Okay, please share.
So in 2000, that was my first year in junior high school. Come from elementary school playing Park Warner football, and I was the biggest one on the team. So we would move everybody around, get everybody out of the way, making holes for the running backs, the quarterback. That was good for me in junior high school, elementary school, playing Park Warner. Okay, I hit junior high school. I was no longer the big person on the team. There was a guy in junior high school, 6'6", 315.
Wow.
I was every bit of 6 even, 295. Now, my heart was there, but my body wasn't. So we went in something called the Oklahoma drill. With that. And we go head up. It's something called a roach. So when the person pancake you, when you do the little roach maneuver on the ground. So we go head up. This guy sent me back 50 yards the opposite direction. he had my shoulder pads and to drive me back.
He blindsided you. He
No.
blindsided you.
No, he came. He head up.
I mean, like in the movie. He
Oh yeah. Just like that. He moved me so far back. You gotta get binoculars to see where I was at. Me and him was way back there, and all I could do was like, all right, plays over. I'm just keep going back. That was my coming to Football America moment, and I realized, okay, I'm not the strongest person on the team. I'm not the biggest person on the team.
Right.
So that goes back to, you know, how bad did you want it? You know, how bad did you want it? Do you really want to get pancake again or roast again, or do you want to go in that weight room and lift them weights up so you compete with him?
Right.
Wow.
Dig it.
What'd you do?
I went him again, but it wasn't that year. I had to go to the weight room, had to get stronger. He was already advanced, man. I had to look up at him. And I'm way high.
Hey, did he make the league?
He actually played for the Ravens. He played for the Ravens.
I was about to say 6'6", 315.
He got the 6
In junior high.
In junior high, gosh.
Maybe
That's a grown man.
I mean, he had D1 offers in junior high school.
Yeah. He was a real man. Y'all should have checked him
And
out.
it wasn't like he was. It wasn't a lot of fatness about it. It was solid.
Wow.
Everybody thought he was my uncle or father. No, he was just a southern boy that came up to north. That's all it was.
Country strong boys.
Man, country strong. He living logs, and we was living, 20-pound dumbbells. He was doing logs. So, I couldn't compete with that.
It'd be hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
Coach Pete, I know you got a gang of stories, but what's one of the ones that you can tell us?
Okay. Here's one. When I coach my guys, I tell them, look, I'm here with you every day. I watch you. I know, how you're progressing and stuff. I'll tell you when, you're ready. But you got some guys in the gym, they want to tell you when they're ready to fight. Okay, when they need to have their first fight. And I'll be like, listen, son, why don't you sit down? Just wait a minute. We got a little time. Let's work on this. Well, I had this one guy who talked junk. He was always on social media, putting pictures of himself up and how he's training and how good he looks and how he's ready and all of this. And so, he just hounded me. I need a fight. You've been giving everybody else a fight. When are you going to give me my time? So finally I just said, okay, all right. The next fight, I'm going to set you up with your first fight. Okay. So we go to a show, and I'm not sure, this might've been the one in North Carolina, but anyway, we go to a show. I go in, we make the matches, and I go back and I'm wrapping people's hands and I'm getting people ready to fight. His hand is already wrapped, and I told him to just, sit down and rest. So one of the boxers come over to me and said, Coach, I think we got a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, my man over here is really kind of nervous because he's seen the guy that he's going to be fighting. I said, and so I don't care. He says, no, they say the guy just got out of prison. And so he's a little on the nervous side. I said, man, I don't care. This guy just got out of Alcatraz. He's set to fight. We gonna fight. So I said, y'all go over there and pray with him. So they go over and they say, yo, man, you're going to be all right first fight. Don't listen to that. Everybody's trying to pump themselves up and say whatever. So I walk him to the ring. We get up in the ring. And what I say to him is, listen, I've been working with you. I expect to see the skills that we've been working on. I expect you to go out there and give me 100%. Give me everything you got, okay? And I'm gonna, when you come back to the corner, I'm gonna tell you what you need. You're gonna be fine, okay? I said, but when you get out there, I need you to work. Oh, no problem. Get out there and work. Bell rings. He goes out there, okay? He throws 2 punches at the guy at least 15 feet away from him. 15 feet away. So he's throwing at the air.
Oh man.
I'm yelling across, what are you doing? Boy, if you don't fight. And see, all my boxers know I'm quick draw McGraw when it comes to the towel. I will throw the towel in on you in a heartbeat. Yeah. Okay? If you're not fighting or you don't do what I'm telling you to do. All right? So he comes back to the corner. He's breathing hard. He said, you see that? See what he tried to do? Coach, you know that he just came out of prison. I think he has about 50 fights. I said, boy, shut up. The boy has no fights. I don't know anything about prison. And if you don't get closer to him and hit him, okay, you're going to be in prison. You're going to be in coach's prison. Okay, the towel's going in. Now, you only have the second round. Now, get up off the stool and get out there. So I snatched the stool from under him, pushed him back out there. The bell rings, ding. What do I get? The same thing. Now he running around the boy. He running around the boy. So what do? I grab my towel. 5 of my boxers grab my hand. Coach, please don't give him a chance. Don't kill him right off the bat, please. I'm like, get. I push him away. I throw the towel up in the air high because that's how I like to throw it, because I like for it to float down. I like for everybody in the stadium to see it, okay? It floats out, hits the ground. They stop the fight. Now he's jumping up and down. He's mad because he feels he got him on the run. I said, boy, you running.
You running.
Get over here and sit down. So he sits down in the corner, and I send one of my guys up to take gloves off. He says, what are you doing? The fight's not over. They said, Coach threw the towel in on you. He said, what? He said, take it back. Go take the towel back. He runs to the middle of the ring and tries to take the towel back from the referee. Mm-hmm. I had to go in the ring and drag him out. Yeah. I was like,
how old was he, Coach? How old was he?
He was 18.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Do I know who it was?
Huh?
Do I know?
No. This is a kid you wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
No, 18. 18. And he hadn't been boxing with me for that long. And that's why I wanted to give him more time. But, you know, because he had been out there in the street fighting, he thought he could fight. Yeah. And we both know that the street and the ring, you can't, they don't mix. You're not going to be able to do what you did in the street and bring it into the ring. You know, but that boy was so mad and he was yelling at the referee, talking about, could you give her the towel back? Can we start again? Like, get this boy out of here.
Did he go on to have a decent career, Coach?
No, because I got rid of him fast, quick, and in a hurry.
Well, he probably was out on them streets after that, for sure.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah, I told him this was not your sport. You know, I suggest maybe a little badminton, marbles, something a little softer, something easier to start you out with. But this is not everybody can do this.
No,
you know, it's not for everybody.
That's one thing about, you know, sports in general, especially, you know, I tell anybody, and you probably say the same thing, Coach Pete, Jay Reed, Rhenaldo, City Councilman. If you are serious about this life, it doesn't matter if it's boxing or if it's being a politician or if it's being somebody that works at the drive-thru. Whatever you do, man, you got to put your best foot forward. You got to put your best effort into it. And this is something that's serious. You cannot play boxing at all. We all know that. You can't play boxing. You can play football, you can play basketball, but you cannot play boxing. So with that being said, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in today. This is Coach Stokes. You know, and this is the round table. This is the Gatekeepers. I'm going to catch you next week, and we out.